Life orientation, final examination term 4 of 2024. So this is a question paper from the Limpopo province. So in terms of our instructions and information, the paper consists of three sections: section A, section B, and section C. For section A and section B, they are compulsory. We take note of that. And then for section C, you have to answer any two questions on section C. So this is what we have. So we're going to start on the multiple choice section, whereby the first question reads, which of the issues below is not a contemporary social issue? So see that the one that is not a contemporary social issue, according to the responses that we have, is ecological disasters. So we have ecological disasters on D. Well, basically, a contemporary social issue is a current societal problem that negatively affects a community or society as a whole, and is often rooted in social or rooted in economical or political factors. So this is the explanation that we have in terms of contemporary social issue that makes indeed the correct response. So going to our number two, the primary role of SAQA, you see that the correct one is validating qualifications. So we will see. Then, if you're a teacher, you are part of the following economic sector. Of course, teaching is part of a tertiary. So we have tertiary on B. So we have a BLD, correct response. Then we move on to number four. Self-esteem refers to, and we know that self-esteem has to do with self-confidence. So the one that is most appropriate according to our responses is the way in which individuals perceive themselves in terms of their abilities and limitations and strength. So we have A. Then we go to number five, the reading skill of moving your eyes quickly over the reading material until you find the piece of information you are looking for. So the correct one is scanning. We are having scanning on D. So moving on to the next part, which is now 1.2. You have to give one term for each of the following descriptions. 1.2.1, substances are produced by glands and released into the blood where they have different effects on body. So the appropriate response is hormones. So you'd say that hormones. So in terms of the spelling of the term, we have got hormones on this part. Then we go to number two, a player who takes a bribe in order to score fewer goals on purpose is guilty of this offense. So you'd see that this is match fixing. Then on the third one, the use of words or actions, for example, criticism, embarrassment, shame, or manipulation to show control or power over another person that may result in feelings of inferiority or self-doubt or lack of self-confidence or self-esteem is emotional abuse. So we have emotional abuse. So in terms of the next question, understanding and reflecting on one's thoughts or emotions and behaviors in ways that enable one to recognize personal strengths and weaknesses. So we have the correct response as self-awareness. So self-awareness. So moving on to the next question. Illegally buying people and selling them, especially in another country. So this is on 1.2.5. Illegally buying people and selling them, especially in another country, it's a human trafficking. So this is that we have on 1.2.5. So we go to the next part, which is now 1.3. You have to answer the following questions by writing the answer next to the question number. We have to state two reasons why schools should model respect for gender diversity. So we have to come up with two reasons. So basically, gender diversity refers to the presence of multiple or of varied gender identities or roles and expressions within a population or environment, encompassing individuals who identify as men or identify as women or both. So basically, this is gender diversity. So our statement. Our question reads, take two reasons why schools should model respect for gender diversity. So the reasons that we have is to promote an inclusive environment where all genders are respected by all learners at school. Enable learners to exercise empathy or tolerance to people or learners of different sexual orientations. foster respect for gender diversity among learners or the school community, contribute towards combating discrimination. So these are the reasons that we have why schools should model respect for gender diversity. This is what we have on this part. So moving on to the next part, which is now 1.3.2, discuss one way in which educators can encourage strategies to enhance self-awareness among their learners. So with that, we see that in terms of the response for that, they encourage learners to keep journals as this practice helps them understand or reflect on their emotions, assess areas of improvement, or introduce mindful activities as these activities help learners become more aware of their thoughts in the present moment, guide students in setting goals as this allows learners to reflect on their progress or identify the steps needed to achieve them. So these are the points that we have. In terms of 1.4, read the source below and answer the questions that follow. Write your answers in full sentences. Of course, you're given a source of communicating values to teens that you need to go through before you go to the question part. So 1.4.1, identify two social changes adolescents may experience in their relationship with family members. So in response to that, they may constantly get into conflict with parents or guardians over trivial things due to increased sensitivity or emotional intensity, seek greater independence or the desire for autonomy or greater privacy or personal space, withdraw from others to explore their evolving identities or relationship with others. So we have a continuation of those points. Of course, the question only needs two, so, but we have got a continuation of that. So in terms of the next part of 1.4, indicates why having a strong value system may assist teenagers in making responsible decisions regarding sexual behavior. So, in response to that, it could provide a moral compass so that they may constantly be guided to make informed sexual decisions, shape or inform certain types of attitudes through which intimate relationships could be viewed. Of course, we have further points that we also have that are also correct. 4.3, explain why critical thinking skills are important when making a lifestyle choices. So uh, it could enable them to gather or assess relevant information before making decisions by ensuring that choices are based on accurate information, evaluate potential risk factors or benefits, which may allow for more balanced or thoughtful decisions, or decisions that consider both short-term and long-term life consequences. So, of course, we see that our question only needs 1 point, but we have got a various points that we have that can include. So we have got further points we can also include. So moving on to our section B. So you would see that on section B, we are moving on to question 2, which is read the. Moving on to question 2. Read the extract below and answer the questions that follow. So you're given the extract, which reads understanding your gene, making decisions about sex, sexuality, and future careers. So you need to go through the extract that is given. So the first question, define the term sexuality in the context of adolescence. So the description is that sexuality is the way adolescents express their sexual feelings or desires or orientation as part of their developing identity. The exploration of sexual attraction or interest or relationships that occur during the adolescence years. Of course, these are the explanations that we have in terms of sexuality. That moving on to the next question. State two reasons why making responsible decisions around sexuality might be difficult for adolescents. So the reasons that they could face peer pressure to engage in sexual activities before they are ready, experience conflicting messages from media or friends or family about sexuality, have limited access to accurate or comprehensive sexuality education. Also, we've got some further points that are also correct. So, moving on to the next question, which is now 2.3. Explain how adolescents could discover changing patterns in careers to help them make decisions about their future. So, on that part, we have our responses. They could research emerging industries or job trends online, which might provide insights into future career opportunities or areas of growth. Attend career fairs or workshops, which could offer first-hand information from professionals about evolving career paths or required skills. So, the question requires 2 points, so you've got further points that are also correct that you can also include. So moving on to the next question, which is going to be our 2.4. Discuss three ways in which our personal values can help adolescents make responsible decisions about their sexuality. So it could guide adolescents to prioritize consent, which might help them make decisions that respect their own boundaries or those of others. Encourage adolescents to wait until they are emotionally ready, which could help them make choices that align with their sense of self or readiness. So these are the points that we have. It also lead to adolescents to seek relationships based on mutual respect, which might ensure that they foster healthy or supportive connections. Of course, we do have further points that we have also there that are also correct. So 2.5 propose two lifelong learning strategies that adolescents could put into practice now to help their future careers. In your answer, also indicate how that could benefit them. So on that part, this they could enroll in online courses or workshops which could help them gain new skills or knowledge relevant to their career interests. And in doing so, they could enhance their qualifications or make themselves more attractive to future employers. Participate in internships or volunteer work, which could provide them with practical experience or insights into different career fields. So these are the responses that we have on this part. Question three, read the extract below and answer the questions that follow. We give an extract. We have learned that social injustice is the destruction of justice itself. So, first question, define the term social justice. So, redressing the situation whereby people with fewer choices that often suffer the most from discrimination, redistribution of wealth, opportunities, and privileges in a society. So basically, this is what we have. And then on the second part, you have to describe what cause of discrimination. So these are the causes of discrimination. People are often ignorant of other people's ways of living, which may lead them to develop hateful viewpoints based on false beliefs. So this is part of that. Then we move on to 3.3, explain how discrimination can lead to human rights violations. So on 3.3, you see that this is how discrimination can lead to human rights violations. Then moving on to 3.4, we'll discuss how corruption can cause poor service delivery in South Africa. So this is what we have in terms of that. So we have a continuation of those points. Then moving on to 3.5, discuss the negative impact of poor service delivery in communities. Then on 3.6, critical discuss two ways in which we can solve social injustice in South Africa and provide an outcome for each suggestion. So basically, this is what we have on 3.6. And of course, we've got continuation of those points. So on question 4, I'll start the infographic below and answer the questions that follow. So this is the infographic that we have dubious distinctions. So of course, you need to go through uh, information given. Then we have the requirements of the question, write paragraphs on doping, use the following as a guideline. State four reasons why athletes may make the illegal decision to start doping. Then the second part, analyze how more administrations in sporting bodies could make it difficult to enforce drug taking laws in South Africa. Then examine two skills that may enable the sports industry to effectively stop athletes from doping. So on the first part, state four reasons why athletes may take illegal decision to start doping. So these are the reasons. Then one second part, analyze how about administration in sporting bodies could make it difficult to enforce drug taking laws in sports. So you'd see that it could lead to inconsistent application of drug testing policies. So we've got further points that we have that are correct. So these are the points that we have on that. So moving on to the next part, critically discuss that may enable the sports industry to effectively stop athletes from doping. So the sports industry could require strong analytical skills by enabling professionals to interpret data from drug tests or monitor performance metrics. So further points also here. On question 5, I start the image below and answer the questions that follow. So I give an image of school violence. So believe that it is a write paragraphs on violence on school in schools. Use the following as guidelines. Set for emotional impacts of violence. Analyze two reasons for the high level of violent crime in South African communities. Explain two practical ways that schools can become involved in promoting a culture of safety and non-violence. So these are the questions that we have. So for the first part of stating four emotional impacts of violence. So these are the uh, emotional impacts. Then on the second part, analyze two reasons for the high level of violent crime in South African communities. So we have the points as such. Then on the next part, examine two practical ways that schools can become involved in promoting a culture of safety and non-violence.